Right now, there is probably a wolf in your house. It might be asleep on your sofa, it might be lying on your feet, it might be staring at you while you eat, doing that thing where it pretends it has never been fed in its entire life. That animal is a wolf, not a cousin of a wolf, not something a bit like a wolf. Scientifically, an actual wolf, just a version of one that has been changed over thousands of years. And the story of how that happened is much stranger than most people think. Here's the thing nobody tells you about dogs. Humans did not create them on purpose. The story most people believe goes like this. A kind caveman finds some wolf pups. He takes them home. He raises them, feeds them, trains them, and turns them into loyal companions. Lovely story, but almost certainly not what happened. Because here is the problem. You cannot tame a wolf. You can raise a wolf pup from the day it is born, give it food, warmth, love, and endless attention, and it will still grow up to be a wolf. Zoos know this. Animal sanctuaries know this. Anyone who has tried it has learned it the hard way, usually with stitches involved. So if humans did not tame wolves, how did we end up with dogs? Here's what the evidence actually shows. First, some basics. Every single dog alive today came from the grey wolf, all of them. The huge German Shepherd and the tiny Chihuahua that fits in a handbag are both, underneath it all, the same animal. Scientists think this began somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago. That is a big range, because ancient bones do not come with dates written on them. But here is what we do know for certain. Dogs were the first animal humans ever domesticated, not cows, not sheep, not horses. Horses were not tamed until around 6,000 years ago. Dogs were already living beside us thousands of years before humans figured out farming. So how did it start? The leading theory is genuinely funny. The wolves probably did it to themselves. Here is how. As humans got better at hunting, we started producing something no other creature in nature was making in bulk: rubbish, leftover bones, scraps, bits of animal we did not want. To a wolf, that is not rubbish. That is a free buffet that appears in the same place every single day. So some wolves started hanging around human camps, waiting for scraps. And this is the key part. It was not the big aggressive wolves. Those wanted nothing to do with us. It was the calmer ones, the slightly braver, slightly more relaxed ones who could sit near a fire and a group of shouting humans without panicking. Those wolves got fed. Well-fed animals have more puppies. And those puppies were born a bit calmer too, because that is what they inherited. Nobody planned this. Nobody designed it. It just happened quietly over hundreds of generations. The friendliest wolves ate best, so friendliness slowly became normal. Now here is where the story takes a genuinely strange turn. In the 1950s, a Russian scientist named Dmitry Belyaev decided to test this idea using foxes. He bred silver foxes, and he selected for one single thing: friendliness, nothing else. Every generation, he only bred the foxes that were least afraid of people. Within just a few generations, something bizarre happened. The foxes did not only get friendlier, they started changing physically. Their ears went floppy, their tails started to curl, their coats developed white and brown patches, their faces got rounder, they began seeking out human attention and making eye contact. Basically, they started turning into dogs, and nobody asked them to. Belyaev had only ever selected for friendliness, but it turned out that in the body, friendliness is somehow wired together with all of these other traits. Breed for a calm animal, and floppy ears come free whether you wanted them or not. Then there is my favorite detail in all of this. Dogs have a tiny muscle above their eyes that wolves simply do not have. That muscle is what lets a dog do the sad, wide, pleading puppy eyes look. Think about what that means. Dogs did not just become friendly. They evolved a specific face muscle whose entire job is to make humans feel guilty. You did not choose your dog. Your dog's ancestors spent thousands of years developing the ability to make you choose them. And it worked perfectly, because here you are buying it fancy food while you eat beans on toast. If you enjoy this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. There is plenty more where this came from. This did not happen just once, in one place. Genetic evidence suggests wolves and humans found each other separately in different parts of the world. East Asia, the Middle East, possibly Europe as well. Different groups of people with no contact at all ended up in the same partnership with the same animal. And by around 10,000 years ago, dogs were not just useful, they were family. We know this because of graves. Archaeologists have found human burials from that period with dogs buried alongside them, not thrown in as food, placed carefully. In some cases, the human's hand was resting on the dog. Think about that for a second. Life back then was brutally hard. Food was scarce. Survival took everything people had. And still, they took the time to bury their dog with care because they missed it. That is the oldest evidence we have of that particular feeling. And it has not changed one bit in 10,000 years. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. For most of this story, dogs were bred for what they could do. Herding, guarding, hunting, pulling sleds. The dog had a job and the breeding followed the job. Then, in the 1800s, that changed. People started creating official breed standards, which were strict rules about exactly how each type of dog should look. Dog breeding turned into a competition about appearance, and that is where the harm crept in. Once looks mattered more than health, people started breeding for features that hurt the animals. Faces flattened so much that dogs struggle to breathe properly. Bodies shaped in ways that cause pain and illness later in life. For thousands of years, this was a partnership that benefited both sides. Then, quite recently, we started making choices that were good for us to look at and bad for them to live with. So why does any of this matter now? Because your dog is doing things right now that no wolf can do. Point at something. Your dog will look where you're pointing. A wolf will not, even one raised by humans from birth. That is not training. Dogs are born able to read us. Then there is eye contact. Among wolves, staring into another wolf's eyes is a threat. It usually means a fight. But dogs look straight into our faces on purpose because they are looking for information. And when your dog looks into your eyes, something remarkable happens in both of you. Your brain and its brain both release a chemical linked to bonding, the same one released between a parent and a baby. That is not your imagination. When you look at your dog and feel something, that feeling is real and it is going both ways. In almost every other case of animals joining humans, we were the ones in charge. We captured them. We fenced them in. We took what we wanted from them. Dogs are different. Dogs came to us. They chose the fire. They changed to understand us, and along the way, we changed too. Some researchers believe humans with dogs survive better, hunted better, and spread further across the world, which means dogs did not just get shaped by us. They helped shape us. So next time your dog falls asleep on your feet or completely loses its mind at the sound of your keys in the door, remember what you are actually watching. That is 15,000 years of history sitting in your living room. Happy to see you. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments what your dog's name is. I'd genuinely like to know.